This is part 2 of Death by a Thousand Cuts. All right, guys, like I told you, all these tiny bits of circumstantial evidence that point right to the fact that Gypsy Rose Blanchard never gave birth. She does not have a baby. She may have a baby around with her that's brought to her to make videos and to do lives and to be seen in public now and again to shut us up. She may be brought a baby, but it's not her baby. All right? And these are just some more little things. You have to look at the minutia, guys. You have to look at the things, because if things don't make sense, there's a reason they don't make sense, okay? Because they're not true, or there's some scamming and some bullshit going on, all right? Now, I left off with a lot of things in the last video, part 1, where I was saying that this shows you that, you know, this, that, and the other, all right? Now, let's talk a little bit more, okay? First of all, I want to talk about, remember when she did the Plan B thing at Lifetime still, right? Oh, they had the need. Now remember, Lifetime, that show they did, that Life After Lockup, or whatever the fuck, that is a reality show. Works just like how the Kardashians and the rest of them that do it. Those people follow them around with cameras for hours and hours and hours, and then they edit out down to what they want. And they felt the need to show her doing that Plan B thing in the car with Mia. Like, oh. And that was because they were relying on the ignorance, well, and stupidity, well, more so the ignorance that people are ignorant to how Plan B works. People think that's an abortion pill. People think if you take Plan B and you are pregnant, boom, that's it. It's gone. There's no way. That is not how it works. It is not an abortion pill. An abortion pill is something very different. All right, guys? Don't let them fool you. That was a tactic. It was supposed to be, all right, she's going to leave Ryan now. She's taken this Plan B pill, so now she can wash that man right out of her hair. She doesn't ever have to deal with him again now because, right, now, if there's a chance she was pregnant, it's gone, right? That's what we're supposed to think. Okay? And that's not even how it works, guys. First of all, let's talk about this. If you don't know how the birth control pill works, first, a birth control pill is something else. The reason you have to take it every day, and you're supposed to take it at the same time, around the same time every day, and you won't get pregnant. These women that say, oh, I got pregnant on the pill, you weren't taking it right, all right? What the pill does, guys, is it's really brilliant what they came up with. It slowly releases amounts of progesterone and estrogen in such a way that it tricks your body into thinking it's already pregnant, okay? That's why you have to take it at the same time. You got to take it every day. You have to keep a constant blood flow that way, because your body says, oh, well, okay, if these progesterone levels are like this, that means they're already pregnant. So a follicle doesn't need to mature and release this month. We don't do that. That's what the pill does. That's why you got to take it all, okay? That's all the pill does. Well, it does a couple other things. It does that. It also thins... It does something with the mucosa of the cervix, making it a little more difficult maybe for the sperm to get in, right? Because it goes through the vagina and then it has to get through the cervix to get to where it needs to go, all right? If it wants to impregnate, the sperm does. It also thins the uterine lining out a little bit, just in case an egg did fertilize. It makes it more difficult to attach to the lining. Implantation is difficult, okay? That's how a regular birth control pill works, okay? Now the Plan B pill is something something different, but not that much different. I was going to say totally different, not that much different. What it does, guys, is it pushes up ovulation. That's what all it does. If you're already pregnant, you can look this up. You can call a pharmacist, call a doctor. If you're already pregnant, that pill will not have any effect on you on a uterus or fetus. Zero. It won't do anything to it. It's just it's a hormone rush. It's not going to affect the baby. What it does, though, is, okay, you ovulate once a month. You're supposed to ovulate every 28 days, but only for a 24 to 48 hour window. That's the only time you can get pregnant, okay? 24 to 48 hour window, the egg is ovulated and you can get pregnant in that window. But you have to keep this in mind. Some sperm can live up to 72 hours. So if you have sex up to 2 days before you ovulate, and there's sperm hiding behind folds and maybe folds or creases in there, and this good, strong, volatile sperm, there's a chance that even though you don't have sex when you're ovulating, that you can get pregnant from the sperm that's there a couple days before. So you understand that's how it works. So really, there's about a 4-day period there that if you're having unprotected intercourse a month, you're going to get pregnant. You can get pregnant maybe. All right, but you're only ovulating 24 to 48 hours. And what happens with Plan B is it does 3 things, okay? What it does is it's a luteinizing hormone surge is what it does. And what that's going to do is it thickens the mucosa on the cervix, which, again, you ejaculate into the vagina, and it's got to get through the cervix to get where the egg might be, right? Or would be. And it thickens that, so it's more difficult for the sperm to get in. It also makes implantation difficult, and it does, how does it do? And it bumps, and it does a chemical thing where it bumps ovulation up for a couple days, okay? That's why you're supposed to take it right after unprotected sex, okay? If you thought you might be if you think you're about to ovulate or whatever, you're supposed to, because it's easy to know when you're ovulating, guys. First day of your period, count up 14 days. That's when you're ovulating. You take it, and then it pushes your ovulation up, and then if you don't have intercourse again for the next couple of days, you'll be good. That's the point of it. It doesn't get rid of or abort a baby that's already there. That's bullshit, and that's what they wanted you to think. They wanted you to think she took this pill and now she's free of him, and that's it. If she was pregnant, it's all gone, because we know what they were up to, okay? That's a little bit of evidence you need to look at, okay? I want to talk about the timeline. Okay, she had to make it look like she leaves Ryan, all right, and then maybe a week passes, and then she's fucking Ken. That's how we're supposed to look at it, right? Supposed to be at the Jazz Fest, right? She leaves him a couple weeks later, then she's at Jazz Fest with him, right? Okay, she announces on July the 9th that she's 11 weeks pregnant. Okay, she was ovulating the very end of April, beginning of May, all right? So that's 8 or 9 weeks. So somehow she's somehow now, she's more pregnant than even the chance, she's farther along than even the chance of the sperm being able to hit her inside, according to what she's told us. Of course, we can't believe anything she said, all right? And then we're supposed to believe that, see, she had to do it to make her not look like a whore so much, and then, and then rekindling the old love, the rekindling this. And then they get together, and the first time she's got the microdeletion, those women are very difficult to get pregnant. You can look that up. I even had one in the comments, and it's very, very rare, saying that it took her 7 miscarriages or something horrible before she had a kid finally, all right? First time he hit it, oh, Ken, well, I'm sure he's got that real tough, good sperm there, that Kenny there. Yeah, right. And the first time he hit it, got her pregnant, right? And then if you do the math, right, she was due supposedly January 22nd, right? She comes supposedly December 20th, not true. And she's almost 6, was she not 6 pounds, something, almost 7 pounds at 35 or 36 weeks gestation? I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that a tiny bit, and you shouldn't either. Don't be silly. All right. Let's talk about, you guys, she only videoed and showed us things to show proof of pregnancy for later if people doubted. And that's exactly the talking points they fall back on. What am I talking about? When they did that fake ultrasound that I told you they paid $45,000 for that. All right. They did that for proof of baby. So some asshole like me comes along later. And this was the first thing Sheena, and Brie, all of them jumped to counter me was, no. You saw them do the ultrasound. You saw that. That's why they did it. Why did they have the need to do the fake DNA test with Ken on TV? Why would they video that? Proof of baby, proof of fake baby. There's no other reason. She didn't show us anything else. She didn't show us shopping trips. She didn't show us going to her OBGYN appointments. She didn't show us doing anything else except things for proof of baby. And that should be suspicious of you. We got nothing else this bitch's whole entire pregnancy except for, oh, there's Ken getting the DNA test, which was fake. Oh, here's us doing an ultrasound to show you that we're pregnant. Oh, come on, guys. That is suspect as hell, and you should be able to look at that and say, yeah, man, that's right, man. We didn't get anything else but that. It's ridiculous. Okay? Now, let's talk about December 28th. Do you really think she had her baby on December 28th and the same day she got out of prison? When December 28th is one of the biggest days in the whole, I hate to keep saying this, in the occult. Look it up. December 28th. It's called Childermas, or the Feast of the Holy Innocents. It commemorates when King Herod, 2,000 some years ago, ordered the death of all Jewish boys 2 years and younger in an effort to kill Jesus. How nice. And that commemorates that. It's a very big day. They do sacrifices and shit. It's for new beginnings. And that is why they use December 28th as their fake birthday. That's why she got out that day. All right? Guys, come on, man. The divorce, no mention of it. When the transcript of the judge when he does his proclaims and tells everything of it, the final settlement, the final divorce, no mention of it at all. You guys, it has to be mentioned in there, okay? There are no court orders. She told us that baby's name was officially changed, look, from Anderson to Urker with her fake birth certificates. You can't do that without a court. They cannot do that without a court order. That divorce could not be finalized without paternity being established. There's no judge in the world that would have not continued it. It is an impossibility for her to have been pregnant on December the 9th when her divorce was finalized, and to give birth on December 28th. That is an impossibility. That did not happen. This alone tells you she did not have a baby. She doesn't have a baby of her own. She told that judge that she was not pregnant on December 9th. Not that she's above line. You guys, she didn't have a baby, man. All right? There are no court orders. You can scour that docket of theirs. Everything that happens in a divorce, just like with a criminal case, every court date, every motion, everything that happens, there's a line item thing that's there, and it's on the docket under them, and they have nothing. Ryan Anderson was her husband. It doesn't matter anything else. It doesn't matter if God himself showed up in the courtroom and said, Ken's the father of their fake baby. Ryan is her husband and has to be tested first and must be accompanied with a court order. And he was never court ordered, you guys. I'm not lying or making this up. He was never court ordered. Neither was Ken. There's no court orders. She cannot come up and then say, oh, well, paternity was established and then they changed their name. They won't do it throughout the court unless there's a court order. You take the court order to get the blood draw. You actually take that to them. You guys, none of that happened. And it wasn't mentioned in the divorce at all. That, you guys, they never closed divorce without settling paternity. You can't do that, man. Stop it. She never had a baby. The birth weight doesn't make sense. None of the timeline makes sense, man. None of it makes sense. She hasn't shown the baby. She would have sold those first baby pictures to someone. Someone would have paid some money for it. There's no harm in showing your kid's face, man. This is to protect her. This is bullshit. Not to protect anything. She doesn't care about that anyway. Stop letting her lie to you so much. You know she doesn't care about anybody but her fucking self. She's not in a real relationship with Ken. That's a lie too. You guys, wake the fuck up, man. She doesn't care about anyone but herself, and she's a complete fucking narcissist. She would be monetized